I see the girls in the club, they're getting wild for me. And all the pretty chicks all wanna smile at me. These rap cats, man, they all got this out for me. And if I ever see them, man, they probably bow to me. And when this beat drop, I know they gon' lean. World debut, I know they gon' feign. Everything Mississippi to the Palm Springs. Girls from brunettes down to blonde queens. These young boys don't know what a dawn mean. I'm just a bad boy, gone clean. I'm the diamond chain choker, always remain sober. Don't drink liquor and all the game's over. Need a plane, I explained it to my broker. 3 blocks in the hood, top down, and ain't over. You know there's more, man, where that come from? Me and Kuda Love rolling back to back in one. See, the names have all changed since I've been around, but the game ain't the same since I left out.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Today's a bit earlier. Sorry for that. I have to cover an event. So today, everything I'm reporting is as of now, 5 p.m. 08 Eastern. So in case anything happens afterwards and I'm not mentioning it, it means I just didn't catch that yet. So for those who are subscribed to emails, you're going to get your email with the latest news. It's going to come very late tonight after Trump speaks at RNC. But thank you so much for joining. Thank you for following. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for adding your voice to the conversation. As per usual, I always mention if there's anything that contradicts anything I'm saying, I'm gladly will stay corrected if you provide any source and proof, because it's all one conversation, you adding your voice to it as much as I do. So I want to start today by covering a very important topic, which is the extinction of dodo birds, because I don't think dodo birds get enough attention. I have a point. And today you will have to think a lot with me. So please take that coffee, whatever, wake up. We're going to think today, okay? We're going to focus. We're going to keep our head on a swivel. So dodo birds, may I read? The dodo bird is one of the most famous examples of human-induced extinction. Dear Democrats, a large flightless bird once native to the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, the dodo was bigger than a turkey and weighed about 23 kilograms. It had blue-gray feathers, a large head and a beak, and small, useless wings. Although the birds were terrestrial, their bone structure was hollow, like that of the birds that fly. Think about a pigeon. Dodos likely nested on the ground, and it is thought that they laid a single egg. One egg. Unfortunately, the species was wiped out less than 200 years after its discovery. The birds were discovered by Portuguese sailors around 1508. So the birds had no natural predators, so they were unafraid of humans. These sailors and others to come quickly decimated the dodo population as an easy source of fresh meat. As humans settled on the island, loss of habitat further threatened the birds. Humans also brought animals such as pigs and monkeys, which ate the vulnerable eggs and competed with dodos for food. Harvesting of the birds combined with habitat loss and a losing competition with newly introduced animals was too much to the dodos to survive. In fact, there were some people who sailors to try to take dodo birds to another island so they could just spread and populate like other species. And they were so upset and sad while traveling to that island that they just didn't want to eat and died on the way. And so dodo birds were slaughtered one day on that island, Mauritius, because one bird got hurt and started screaming. And all the dodo birds just ran to see what the hell happened. And that's where they all got slaughtered. The last dodo was killed in 1681, and the species was lost forever to extinction. So, dear Democrats, why I'm telling you this story? We haven't had serious predators on this land for a long time. If we look at everything that is happening with media and politics as somebody from Europe, for instance, somebody from UK or somebody from Eastern Europe. If you lived in USSR and you see what happens now in the media, you're like, oh, that's that, quacks like a duck, it's a duck, honey. Here we take everything serious. Here we overly exaggerate every single news, every single anonymous source. Do you know for a fact that a journalist has to explain why they grant a status of anonymity to the source? It was allowed so this source could protect identity in case this, person would be hunted forever. Now we're talking about elected officials who are voicing their opinion to those who voted them in, to those who pay their salary. And now we think that anonymity, it's cool. Somebody said this, as I hear, takes such a heavy load in all those statements, and we like dodo birds take everything seriously. We flock this screaming person. We're like, oh my god, what is happening here? So let me explain just one thing. Since this election is not like any other, it's not like 2020, it's not like 2016, it's certainly not like 2012 or 2008 or 2004. Forget about it. Different times. Yes, technology. Yes, social media. Yes, AI. No, take that aside. The number of billionaires that we planted on this land is so big that one of them or few of them have as much as a combination of few countries' GDP. Do you understand what this means? If one person has as much money as a whole country's GDP. So first, money is satisfactory. Oh, I'm going to buy this and that and that. I'm going to buy a company. Now I'm going to own an industry. Now let's combine it all together. Can we own a country? And like boys with toys, they take a toy and see what it's made of. Is it going to break? What if I bend it? What if I hit it? What if I take it apart? As somebody who is aerophobe, I'm scared of turbulence. I had a bad experience. That aside, I know a thing or two of praying and hoping and being afraid of turbulence and flying. And this election is turbulent. This will be getting even more so turbulent. But guess what? Our plane is made of everything that will sustain this turbulence. We cannot go around it. We have to go through it. We are in the air, so we're not changing the pilot and co-pilot. And god damn it, your pilot is wise, weathered, knowledgeable, and has been, for a fact, through this turbulence many times. Google it. The co-pilot is also wise, experienced, knowledgeable, upbeat. So just in case, this team will get you covered. You're in the air, facing turbulence. There's no way but up and forward. And we're discussing who on earth would be a good candidate to replace this team. Doesn't it sound dumb to you a little bit? So what is our job now? What is your job now? Is to fasten your goddamn seatbelt so you don't break your head when you go up and down through this turbulence. Because your job will start when you arrive. And this plane will arrive. And you better not arrive with a broken head and a broken heart. So you would be able to deliver and do your job in November. That is when your job is due. Not today. Not to tweeting and retweeting and focus. Focus on the news. Stop focusing on the noise. You guys work somewhere. Do you focus at work? You're at home. You have kids screaming. You have, your family screaming all around you. Do you focus? Yeah, you do. And I see people complaining, why my posts are so long? Why am I posting a whole statement? Why am I posting a whole article? God damn it, start reading more than a headline. Start watching more than 10 seconds because you have been so carefully planted into this little naive news bubble that makes you anxious, makes you sick, makes you dependent. Because this is a drug. Start reading full articles. Start building an opinion. Start watching documentaries, something that is longer than 10 seconds, so you just lose your attention and go to the next reel. Are you a dodo bird or are you a human? And that is the question that I want you to answer for you. This is for Democrats, not to all, but certainly to a certain number. And if you see a dodo bird next to you, warn them. Warn them that this wings right here ain't useful. What happened to those wings? The DNA planned for the wings here and for the tail and for everything, because it's overweight, it never had predators, never had to run, never had to hunt, never had anything. It just delivers one goddamn egg and prays for it. That's it. So that's why I wanted to cover the extinction of the dodo bird. I hope it's useful. So also, when we're discussing about exchanging our pilots and whatnot, see, if we talk about we're in the air and turbulence, it's clear. Like, how can you discuss what team can replace them? But here on Earth, it gets confusing. So we have a thing called battle states. You know it. And so there are other thing called rules. And so in 3 battle states, such as Wisconsin, Georgia, and Nevada, at this point of time, in time, nobody can replace the candidate they voted for, which is Joe Biden, current president. Anybody who would be replaced would not be on the ballot, would not be collecting votes. Are you giving up those 3 states? It's too much? Michigan would be next. Study rules, start reading, stop talking, stop tweeting, stop believing every single anonymous source. News makes money when you click on it. This is a fact. Every time you click on a clickbait, you bring them money. Spend your money wisely. Spend your clicks wisely. You see what happened to CNN. You see what happened to all these news sources. And now I'm going to cover I call them RCN all the time, Republican convention. And we're going to get through it. And it's going to be a bit turbulent. So fasten your seatbelts. We're just going to go through because it ain't funny, ain't nice. We just have to watch through it. But I want you to keep in mind that there is a game, that you are part of it. You've been cast for this role without auditioning for it. So for you, it is important to understand, are you living in this movie or are you running that movie? Are you being an actor or are you being an observer? And if you're an actor, what is your role? Okay, so with that in mind, let's cover the. Oh no, actually, I want to share some news from Russia with love. And so this is to my point where people from Eastern Europe, when we look, and I count myself to this because I grew up in Germany, born in Ukraine, and everything. So when we look at it, we're like, there is a parallel. So I want to explain what is happening in Russia today. Aside from being at war with Ukraine and whatnot. And then I want you to, think about how does it make you feel and whether you see any parallels, okay? So in Russia, Russian authorities are preparing to block Wikipedia, replacing it with RuWiki. This clone has strict censorship. There is not a word about the connections between Putin and Kabaeva. That's his girl he has kids with, former Olympian champion. And the massacre in Bucha is so-called a staging. Exactly a year ago, the RuWiki encyclopedia launched in Russia, designed to replace Wikipedia, which refuses to submit to censorship. As they found out, during the time, RuWiki received a lot of money, created its own mini troll factory, and censored thousands of texts. Today, former President Medvedev said that laws of ancient Babylon, give Russia the right to start a nuclear war. Ain't nobody covering it. Yeah, it's kind of interesting for us because they would touch us. He says, quote, the laws of ancient Babylon and India, as well as the Old Testament and the Quran, give Russia the right to use nuclear weapons against its adversaries in the West, he said. End quote. How does it make you feel? Does it smell scary? Anxious? So think about it. It's the same way, if you have, let's say, diabetes and you eat sugar, and it's like it tastes well, it makes you sick, anxious, and you're sick, just getting more and more sick. So when you consume such stuff, does it make you feel good or does it make you sick? One thing is consuming facts, and often facts are not a nice thing to even consume, but it makes you feel informed. It doesn't make you feel anxious and sick because all of this arrives in masses. But see, you have a choice. Same as you have a choice in November, you have a choice what you are consuming. So consume wisely. So the troll factory, the censorship, the misinformation, the inability to even know the facts of what is actually happening. I'm talking about Russia, but it could also apply to what we're experiencing now because you didn't hear that today President Biden forgave $1.2 billion to 35,000 people who had student loans. Was that the headline? Was it the headline that now, thanks Biden, that NATO has a signed agreement with Ukraine, that NATO ships are entering Black Sea? First time? Was that the big news? Pretty big. So what world are we living in? Anyway, uh, thank you for sticking with me. This has been happening for a while. I'm not sure what is happening, but for the last 3 days, especially when it comes to Twitter, it just freezes the phone, the computer, everything. Not sure what's happening. I don't want to plant any conspiracies, but it's kind of awkward. Okay, so first thing I wanted to say that President Biden's doctor today released a statement telling how he's dealing with COVID. So he doesn't have fever, he's taking Paxlovid, and he has a bit of respiratory symptoms, a bit of cough, but he's doing really well. The symptoms are mild. Again, I'm still asking where is the medical report of um, former President Trump? I'm asking really consciously what happened to the ear, what happened to his head, his brain, and is he doing well? We're actually worried. We want to see a report. But still, we have absolutely nothing on that end. Okay. Um, Before again we get into RNC, also another thing, because a lot of people have commented: is Biden staying? Is he not staying? There's now 72 hours, and I don't know. But Quentin Folks, who is the head of Biden Harris campaign, he said, "I don't want to be rude." This was today in Milwaukee. They had a conference in Milwaukee at 9 a.m. Eastern. He said, "I don't want to be rude, but I don't know how many times we can say this. President Biden is staying in the race." I joined the National Security meeting, NSC. This was at noon, was told, yes, he's staying. All of us were told he's staying. Then Nancy Pelosi, spokesperson, said that everything has been flipped around. She hasn't been speaking to Biden for the past 6 days. Also, White House and literally somebody who works with Biden confirmed that keep your faith, he is staying in, everything is fine. So this is what I'm hearing, and I will report to you everything that I'm hearing. But back to those boys that are playing with America as a toy. Check this out. This is the people who want to run this country. I'm not speaking at RNC, And then this fella says, maybe next year. Well, Republican convention, obviously, it's every 4 years, corresponding to the election cycle. You wish they would read the manual for the toy they want to play with, but you know, it is what it is. So let's get through the convention yesterday. The day started with, see what happens at the convention there in Milwaukee. They print signs. Every time, every night they come in, they have new printed signs that people would be pointing out. So this was the sign for yesterday.
Mass deportations now. Mass deportations now. That is the kind of policy that is alarming, even cruel, even un-American to folks on the left, and that is the intended effect. Someone I spoke to just a moment ago said it's going to make heads explode. And you may wonder, is that where the Republican Party is today? I did a little digging. I can tell you from my reporting during the primary season talking to voters, the answer is absolutely yes. And the answer from pollsters is absolutely yes. 3 out of 4 Republicans want immigration to decline in America, and they believe that immigration brings in drugs, brings in crime, and makes the economy worse.
Did you hear the phrase? It's going to make heads explode. And that is the intention with the polls, with the signs, with the coverage. Okay. Thank you for being with me. If this continues, I can just pre-record and upload it. So you don't get bothered with me too much. But okay, so the signs were mass deportations, and then Governor Abbott welcomed immigrants.
He will arrest the criminal illegal immigrants and put them behind bars or send them back.
And then Peter Navarro continued with the message.
And a whole army of illiterate illegal aliens stealing the jobs of black, brown, and blue-collar Americans. They put them right on your front doorstep.
Thank you for commenting. I'm happy that you hear me. Again, very sorry. This is not something I'm, supposed to presenting to you. But you hear the message. Mass deportation signs, they're holding them up. Abbott says, we will do mass deportations. Then Navarro says the immigrants are illiterate. And then you would think, what would the media say? They're literally there in Milwaukee with the panel talk. So they would probably point it out that it's kind of un-American. But here you go.
Biography, because I've been so struck, not just by what we've heard, Kristen, but what we have not heard this whole week. All the rally favorites, the greatest hits about the 2020 election being stolen. No one's mentioning it. Political grievances, weaponizing government. Nobody's mentioning it. Nobody's calling the January 6th rioters patriots or hostages. All of that seems to have been excised from what the Republican Party is trying to portray here on this stage. It is notable.
No wonder everybody gets stressed watching NBC. For heck's sake, they're sitting there and they're missing the hatred. None of it is being mentioned. Vance's wife, who is of an Indian descent, or I think she's, I don't know. Anyway, she is Indian. She's entering the stage and she's being looked at like, whoa, we weren't aware that that is the wife and how she looks like, which is disgusting. This is Vance's wife. And they're holding up signs, mass deportations for immigrants. And then she's standing there like very awkward. Maybe that's what I meant, Indian, Native American. I have to see what exactly her, cultural background is. But it is disgusting that somebody has to look at the signs about mass deportation of immigrants. What are we talking about in this white crowd? Okay, then another guy who is freshly from jail. He worked directly with Russia, running political campaigns to place Putin's candidates into European governments, think Orban, and then was pardoned by Trump and is walking through the RNC. Take a look.
Mr. Manafort, how is it to be back?
Great to be back.
Have you talked with the former president?
I don't tell people that.
Like nothing happened. I want to also know, what were those pardons costing when he was giving them out like candy when exiting the office, not even showing up to Biden's inauguration? What were they going for? The rumor was 2 million, but who knows? And then Kim G, I can't pronounce her last name and I give up. She shared a message for President Trump.
President Trump handed Biden a booming economy and a strong nation. All Joe had to do was leave it alone and take a nap.
Maybe you should have left your face alone. And I'm not sure who is President Trump. I'm not sure what is happening to Getz, because he looked different just a day ago. So did he get the Botox and all this sort of cross-dressing vibe while in Milwaukee? Not sure. I'm happy he's warming up to the cross-dressing situation, but take a look.
Inflation has gotten so bad, you can no longer bribe Democrat senators with cash alone. You have to use gold bars just so the bribes hold.
You have to use gold bars. So are you trying to bribe Democrats? Is that why the anonymous sources are saying all this mess? This is my question. Is their motivation coming from Silicon Valley same as the media motivation? Food for thought. Weird times we live in. So this too, yesterday delivered the happiness to Twitter, X. So Conways are delivering. So Claudia said, am I high, or did Mad Cats get crazy Botox? And George Conway said, you'd better not be high. And then they continued, after watching these speeches, I think I have to be. Yeah, I get it. So this was the typical dead humor, kind of like that's what I think initially Twitter was and has been before it turned into this political bubble. But that sort of delivered a bit of happiness to Twitter yesterday, and or X, and I shared it. But what is their mother doing? And as they say, Kellyanne Conway, the mother, she was mothering. Take a look.
8 years later, he and his family have made the sacrifice again for him to run and serve as president. Donald Trump could be the envy of former presidents. He's a billionaire who could play golf every day at his own golf courses. He can enjoy a magnificent life with his incredible 5 children, his 10 amazing grandchildren, and that extraordinary, elegant, beautiful, brilliant wife. The former and future First Lady, Melania Trump.
Where is she, by the way? Is she showing up today? We know Musk isn't talking today, but is Melania showing up today? Is that in the contract or plans? I'm not sure. Golf courses, really? All presidents would be envious because he's playing at his golf courses where he also buried his first wife. Not sure they would be really envious. But news today about the Conways. Today, Conway, the father, is launching a new political action committee, the Anti-Psychopath PAC, which he says will highlight the existential threat Donald Trump poses to democracy and remind voters of the former president's mental unfitness for office. This is their commercial. Take a look.
Now, you haven't heard any of this discussed very much in the media. And that's because too many people are afraid of talking about mental health issues, particularly Donald Trump's. Here's an example. This is a book, a memoir, written by a fine and accomplished journalist who was for many years executive editor of the Washington Post. In it, he explains how, in 2019, he was urged to have the newspaper tackle head-on the issue of whether Trump was mentally ill. And he explained that this was the final taboo in covering presidents. In the end, he, along with a lot of others in the media, decided not to break that taboo. And the public remains uninformed. And not only that, the failure to treat Trump's behavior as pathological has led the media and the country, perversely, to treat his behavior as normal. And that's a big reason why we're seeing the double standard that's being applied to the candidates today. And that's the problem we're here to address.
Anti-Psychopath PAC. Anti-Psychopath PAC. With this in mind, watch this video.
Seems like God's hand is on his shoulder. Your thoughts?
I believe it. I believe we all witnessed a miracle, literally. From, before it happened, the flag above got blown in the wind and it got tied into literally what looked like an angel. Did you see that video?
I didn't see it.
Oh my gosh, you guys have to find that. It was truly, it was like an angel coming down, and it was the American flag tied. They had to bring it down, and all the people in the stands helped unravel it, and it was literally before he came out on the stage.
Angels. I don't know what to say to that, but anti-psychopath PAC. So, but then, okay, people on the left, Biden was testing positive for COVID. Probably he got love from the media, right? Because he is hurting, he is self-isolating, he's current president who delivers, who gets everything done. So the media is probably very compassionate, right?
A bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden. You've got the nominees of this party getting their butts kissed. Biden's getting his butt kicked by his own party. The Democrats are coming apart. The Republicans are coming together.
Who's coming apart is Van Jones and his reputation. And this is the one thing. When you can, I understand if somebody can buy votes, voices, businesses, opinions, even loyalty. That crap exists. What I'm really concerned if somebody can, when somebody buys such things as humanity and humility and self-respect and dignity. If your dignity is for sale, then, fella, you have a problem. That is a big problem. Big problem. Huge, to quote the pretty woman. Okay. Biden-Harris campaign has put an ad yesterday using a clip where Trump was very careful and just so pathetically listening to his older son, Donald J. Trump. Take a look. Very powerful ad. Just 18 seconds.
In construction, right? In construction, it doesn't matter how smart your architect is. This November, we have a choice. It's a choice between one team that wants to build this country up and another that, if you want to bring back common.
And if you think this was somehow changed, this is a picture. That's how he was carefully and very focused on the speech of Don Jr. But good news for J.D. Vance and the Trump team. They got endorsement for a very powerful nation. And you would think which one? Russia. Russia has officially endorsed J.D. Vance, and Trump for presidency. Lavrov did deliver this message. So, of course, at the UN, where they're presiding over the UN Security Council. Where else? Listen to this.
Putin mentioned this repeatedly. We will work with any American leader. We will remain ready to work with any U.S. leader who the U.S. people elect and which the leader will be willing to engage in equitable, mutually respectful dialogue. I wish to recall once again what I stated during the Trump administration.
I heard the same thing you did. He's in favor of peace, in favor of ending the assistance that's been provided. And we can only welcome that because that's what we need to stop pumping Ukraine full of weapons. And then the war will end.
And the war will end. And Ukraine will end too. Yee. How dare you? And also, when this country endorses you, you got a problem. You got a real problem. And I want to remind you what did happen. By the way, today is 8 years ago yesterday. Remember this press conference in Helsinki where Donald Trump was meeting Vladimir Putin, and he was addressing the intelligence community and talking about all these weird findings that FBI did about Russia meddling in the election. And so he sided with Putin and kind of went against his own intelligence community. Let's take a look.
My first question for you, sir, is who do you believe? My second question is, would you now, with the whole world watching, tell President Putin, would you denounce what happened in 2016, and would you warn him to never do it again?
So let me just say that we have two thoughts. You have groups that are wondering why the FBI never took the server. Haven't they taken the server? Why was the FBI told to leave the office of the Democratic National Committee? I've been wondering that. I've been asking that for months and months, and I've been tweeting it out and calling it out on social media. Where is the server? I want to know, where is the server, and what is the server saying? With that being said, all I can do is ask the question. My people came to me, Dan Coates came to me, and some others. They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be, but I really do want to see the server. But I have confidence in both parties. I really believe that this will probably go on for a while, but I don't think it can go on without finding out what happened to the server. What happened to the servers of the Pakistani gentlemen that worked on the DNC? Where are those servers? They're missing. Where are they? What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? 33,000 emails gone, just gone. I think in Russia they wouldn't be gone so easily. I think it's a disgrace that we can't get Hillary Clinton's 33,000 emails. So I have great confidence in my intelligence people, but I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today. And what he did is an incredible offer.
Project 2025 aside, this for 4 more years? Why were you tweeting and calling out FBI? You're president. You are commander-in-chief. You're wondering about the server because somebody said server and you thought it's smart and you started just repeating server, 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 going around the server. Kind of sounds like if you're a student and you didn't prepare and you just like caught this bit of information from somebody who did prepare and you just keep like lying all around that information to sound smart. But at the same point, you are commander-in-chief and talking to Russia right next to you, and you represent the strongest economy, strongest military, which is the United States. And that is scary. Bad news for Vance. Now Biden-Harris campaign targeted him specifically in an ad, which kind of summarizes everything he stands for. So if you haven't seen it yet, take a look.
Project 2025. I reviewed a lot of it. There's some good ideas in there. I got to be honest with you. I don't really care what happens to Ukraine one way or another. We're effectively run in this country by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too.
I asked Vance if he thought anti-abortion laws should include exceptions for rape or incest.
Look, I think two wrongs don't make a right.
Mr. Vance, no.
national abortion ban. Is that something you could support?
Some minimum national standard is totally fine with me.
Meow. I guess I'm the cat lady. Okay. Good news for Ukraine. Today, Japan said that they will be providing Ukraine with $3.3 billion loan to be repaid from the proceeds of frozen Russian assets. Kyoto, the leader said, notes that the funds provided by Japan will not be used for military purposes, but will be used to restore infrastructure in Ukraine. Also, European Union stands with Ukraine. Today, the European Parliament, and I'm going to show you her picture so you see who I'm talking about. European Parliament has voted in favor of having Ursula von der Leyen continue in her position of president of the European Commission for another 5 years. She said in the European Parliament, she announced Orban's pacification mission in Moscow. In a speech in the European Parliament on Thursday, July 18, Ursula von der Leyen reminded that Russia continues to advance in Ukraine, betting on a war of attribution and the West's refusal to confront the Kremlin. She said, quote, and some in Europe play along with this. 2 weeks ago, the prime minister of the country of the European Union went to Moscow. This so-called pacification mission, she emphasized. The head of European Commission added that only 2 days after Orban's visit to Moscow, Russia shelled Kiev, including hitting the children's hospital where kids with cancer has been treated, the biggest hospital in Ukraine, and the maternity hospital. The strike was not a mistake. It was a signal, a blood-curdling signal from Kremlin to all of us. Our response must be no less clear. No one wants peace more than Ukraine and the Ukrainian people, and a just and lasting peace for a free and independent country. And Europe will support Ukraine as long as it takes. This is our signal. So also, when it comes to Orban, earlier 6 countries announced that they would not send their ministers to the meetings organized by Hungary as long as they are presiding over European Commission. Because same as what I explained at the UN, Russia is presiding over over UN Security Council, so they're directing how the meetings go, who is speaking, what's on the agenda, so they're running the meetings. The same is Orban in Hungary now for 5 months in the European Union. They're running European Commission meetings. So now 6 countries have said, we're not going to attend those meetings unless this guy drops out or the country steps away and the next country presides over European Commission, because he has been traveling to Russia, to China, and meeting with everybody that is sort of adversary. So also, European Commission approved new 4.2 billion euros budget for Kiev, and she announced that as well. Also, it was stated that Germany would repair the kids' hospital. They would donate $10 million to rebuild the hospital that has been hit in Kiev, the kids' hospital. Also today, here's a picture. Today, Zelensky arrived in London. This is the former commander-in-chief on the right, Zaluzhny. He is now the ambassador of Ukraine to UK. So he met him at the airport upon landing. And so Zelensky met, and this is a weird, kind of like a video you don't really expect, but he met with King Charles and with Polish leader Tusk. Take a look.
Thank you so much.
All I was screaming, it's a tan suit! It's a tan suit! Oh my God. So during his visit to United Kingdom, President Zelensky was received by King Charles III of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The president expressed gratitude to the British people and His Majesty's government, emphasizing that the United Kingdom remains one of Ukraine's closest and most important allies. Zelensky thanked King Charles and the entire royal family for their support of the Ukrainian people and their attention to Ukrainians who have found temporary refuge in the United Kingdom. Also, the newly elected British PM, Starmer, has warned of the threat posed by Russia at a European summit and pledged long-term support for Ukraine. He said the threat from Russia extends to the whole of Europe, and be in no doubt we will stand with you, Ukraine, for as long as it takes. So, it says voting me. Yes. That is more about Ukraine. So my point for covering this, no, it's not White House, it's not US, but I want to debunk the myth that only America sends everything to Ukraine, that Europe does absolutely nothing, that Europe is sleeping, and to Trump's and Vance's notion, only US has to, be part of this war. No, it's a coalition. What President Biden did is to explaining to the leaders that this war will escalate to further countries and that it is time to start replenishing a stock and start actually taking the threat seriously, which they did. And so hence they are in awe, and they're expressing how grateful they are for his wisdom. Because if you look at the entire NATO, for instance, summit, he is the oldest, but he also has the most experience. And quite openly, they stated, we're grateful that he's actually there. And this is a fact. It's not, trying to reach upon anybody's body part. So I saw this meme earlier on Facebook today, and I think it's true. So July 4th is all about saying no to a king who would put himself above the law. So is November 5th. And so to round it up, I know it's early. I know you got to run and eat and whatnot. To round it up, I want to show you a video that I found. So, like how Sesame Street is being really spoken badly about, especially by Christian conservatives, and especially by the MAGA party. And I think there might be an explanation for it. So this video, I ask you to watch 1 minute, 35 seconds fully. It's a song. And tell me if you want me to post it, because I tried to post 3 times on X and it was deleted 3 times by the platform. So 20 years ago, this premiered on Sesame Street. Enjoy.
Donald Grump! Who's Donald Grump?
Oh, don't give me patience.
Where have you been? Donald Grump happens to have the most trash of any grouch in the world.
Yeah, he's loaded with trash.
His name is on every piece of trash in town.
Yeah.
Oh. Grump? Who's got more trash than anyone does?
Grump, Grump, Grump. Who has the best rubbish and scuzz?
Grump, Grump, Grump. He's got so much trash it spills out of his can.
And that is why we are his biggest fans.
Oh, he's coming. Here he comes.
Who's
got more trash than any of yous? Grump, Grump, Grump. Who has the finest garbage and goo? Grump, Grump, Grump. That's right. His trash is more trashy.
His fish think the most.
No wonder that Grump can't help but boast. Whose name equals trash to you and to me? Who do you wish you all could be? Grump, I'm the trashiest. Grump, I'm the grouchiest. Grump. Grump, and I have more trash than all of you, so yeah.
On this note, have you seen it before? I have never seen it before. I thought, 20 years ago, 2004? That might explain all the negativity and hatred towards Sesame Street for no reason. So please expect your email if you signed up. So just a reminder how you can get honest.substack.com, all the emails, clips, and tonight I will also explain why in more detail how the Silicon Valley makes media say what they say and what the reason behind it, but it will be in the email because on this platform I'm not going to dare to do so. So please sign up also on YouTube. If you are watching there, sign up, subscribe, because in case something happens here, then you can find me there. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions or special things, requests that you want me to cover. Tomorrow I will be at the time that we're always meeting, which is 8 p.m. with, of course, covering the speech that Trump will give tonight and everything that will happen in between. So thank you for watching, and please share it if you may. Okay, thank you.